Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm working on another cross project and these are the supplies I'm using. Yep, this one's going to be different, friends. My Uncle Joe has passed away and my mom purchased this deer head. I guess it goes on a hitch from Amazon, and she wants me to incorporate this into a kind of a masculine cross for his funeral. So I was trying to figure out how I'm going to put this deer head on this cross. So I picked up some wooden coasters from Walmart and I'm going to glue the deer head down onto this coaster. And I'm using a lot of glue. I don't want this going anywhere. So I used my glue pan for this, and I'm just going to put that off to the side and let it dry. Next, I'm going to work on the actual cross. I purchased this from Hobby Lobby. It was in the Easter section. I'm not sure if they have these year-round or not. They probably do. So this was the most challenging, I guess you could say, is trying to get this piece of foam onto the cross. So I ended up using zip ties, and I did use 2 of them. When you're putting in your zip ties, you always want to make sure that you put them in the right way. This way you can zip tie them down. Now I'm going to trim off the extra zip tie, check my work in the back, make sure that it's going to stay, make sure it's sturdy. I wanted to cover up the styrofoam, so I'm actually using a shelf liner for this because I knew I would be able to get my stems through the shelf liner and then to get into the styrofoam. I'm going to use these floral pins to secure the shelf liner to the styrofoam. And I think I did 2 on each side of the block. I wasn't too concerned with the excess of the shelf liner. I knew it was going to be covered up with the greenery, so I just left it. And this is what we have so far. Next, I'm going to separate out my greenery. So I'm just tearing this bundle apart, trimming it down, and then I'm just going to make piles of my greenery. I do like to trim up all my greenery first and get them into piles and get them out of the way. I just feel like it makes for more efficient work. I thought this greenery was perfect for a more masculine look. So here I'm trimming up the last of my greenery. I didn't use too much of this because I don't want it to be overwhelming. Okay, now that I have my finger guards on and my glue pan is nice and hot, now I'm going in with my greenery. I'm going to do 4 corners with this greenery here. And then I did add an extra one down at the bottom. I'm keeping the top part of the styrofoam kind of free and clear because that's where I'm going to put the deer head. Now I'm working in some greenery on the sides. I'm going to use the front part of the styrofoam for a bow, so I'm going to leave that kind of open. I don't want to put too many florals in there because I do want to add a bow. So this is where my deer head is going to go. The last greenery I'm using is from Hobby Lobby, and it's from the Botanic Artistry, and I did get it on sale. They were $4.99 each. It's just called Floral, and there is a number on it. It's item number 465062. It kind of reminded me of cattails. These stems were too flimsy. They would not go through the styrofoam. So I decided to pull out my pick machine, and I'm going to add steel picks to the end. This way I can get it into the styrofoam, and it's going to be secure. It's not going to go anywhere. Having a steel pick machine is not necessary. I just happen to have one. The only reason why I do is because a flower shop in my area was going out of business. They were retiring, and so they were selling everything. So I ended up picking up this pick machine along with two others. I want to say I paid $10 per pick machine. I got it super cheap. I was very fortunate. And it's times like this where it comes in handy. However, you don't need one. You really don't need one. They're very expensive. You could use stems that you have clipped off, like leftovers, and you could take floral tape and wrap it around the stem you're using or the stem you're working with, and that would be just fine. So now I'm just cleaning up, and I'm going to show you the steel pick machine. This is the one I got from a flower shop. Okay, back in with my finger guards. Now I'm going to add the last of the greenery, and I'm just going all around. I am kind of making sure that it kind of comes up, more up, like it's coming out of the styrofoam, but not directly in the middle of the styrofoam. When I'm placing the picks into the styrofoam, I am trying to take it all the way in because I don't want the metal part or the steel part from the steel pick to show. Also too, when you're trimming up your florals or your greenery or any of that, especially if you're going to use styrofoam or floral foam, it's a good idea that when you're trimming it that you cut it at an angle. Okay friends, now I'm going to work on my bow. I'm starting off with the burlap. We're going to do 8-inch tails with 4-inch loops. And so I'm just placing the burlap into those two dowels, and I'm just making loops on each side. And when I'm going down, I'm twisting the ribbon. I'm not going to dovetail my tails. I'm just going to cut them at an angle. Next, I'm going in with the camouflage. I did purchase this from Amazon. And I'm also doing 8-inch tails with 4-inch loops, one on each side. This ribbon here, I'm not sure what to call it. I really don't know what to call it. I purchased it from Hobby Lobby and it was in the ribbon section. However, I didn't make loops with it. I just used it to add extra tails. This last ribbon I purchased from Hobby Lobby, and I just wanted to give it a pop of green, and so I'm doing the same thing, 8-inch tails, 4-inch loops, one on each side. Okay, now I'm going in with my zip tie. I'm starting the zip tie. I'm not going to crank it all the way down. So I start on the right side, make sure all of my loops are in there, and I'm going to use a zip tie to carefully remove it from the Easy Bow Maker. And before I crank the zip tie all the way down, I'm going to add a pipe cleaner because I need a way to attach it to my cross. I did kind of mess with the bow a little bit. They call this fluffing the bow or breaking the bow. It is a very basic bow, so I didn't do too much to it. Okay, now I'm gonna go in and use those pipe cleaners that I attached to my zip tie, and I'm gonna utilize the pipe cleaners to attach this to my cross. I just went around the styrofoam and through the chicken wire and pull the pipe cleaners to the back. And once I get them to the back, I'm gonna flip the cross over and twist tie off those pipe cleaners. Then I'm gonna tuck the pipe cleaners back into the project. So here I'm twist tying it off and then I'm pushing it back into the styrofoam. This is me stalling because I'm not sure how I'm going to do this. I just know I'm going to use a lot of glue. Okay, I'm going to put my finger guards on. And I'm going to use my glue pot. And I'm going to get a lot of glue on the bottom of the coaster that the deer head is on. So here I'm just using a butter knife to get it on the bottom of that coaster. Now I'm going to place it on top of the styrofoam and I'm going to hold it there for a little bit. I just want to make sure that it's nice and hardened. I want to make sure the glue takes. Now I'm doing a shake test. I want to make sure that deer head's not going to go anywhere. And it looks pretty sturdy. I do go in with some camouflage ribbon, and because I'm going to take a zip tie around the base of the deer head to make sure it's just extra security for me that the deer head's not going to go anywhere. So here I'm going in with the zip tie, another tedious part of this project. So I'm just going around the base of the deer head. So once I get the zip tie in place, I'm going to zip tie it off, but I'm not going to make it too tight. I just want to zip tie it down a little bit. All right, now I'm going to get my finger guards back on and I'm going to put some glue down at the base of the deer head and I'm going to use camouflage ribbon to cover up the zip tie. I want to cover up my mechanics. Now that I have the ribbon glued to the base of the deer head, I'm pulling the ribbon back through the back part of the cross and I'm going to tie it off. Okay, now I'm going in with the camouflage ribbon that I used in the bow and I'm going to glue this down to the back side of the cross. Just like I did cover up the mechanics for the deer head where the zip tie was, I want to cover up the mechanics on the back side of the cross as well. This is where you exercise some patience and you just go section by section, gluing it down. I'm going to use 2 strips of ribbon for this part because I want to cover up that styrofoam. I don't want to see any of my mechanics. So again, we're just going section by section, and I'm actually going to cover up the camouflage ribbon as well. So now I'm going in with the second piece. Gonna glue it in place and pat it down with my fingers. Now I'm going to trim up the ribbon. You always want the back side to look just as pretty as the front side, just nice and clean and neat. So now I'm going in with the burlap ribbon, and I'm only doing 2 strips with this burlap. And I'm doing the same thing, gluing it down and using my finger guards to pat it down. Once I get this glued down and it dries a little bit, I'm going to trim up the excess ribbon. Okay, now I'm checking the cross. I want to make sure that everything's exactly the way I want it. And I'm also pulling off any glue strands that are on the actual project. Okay, so now I'm going to create a hook. I'm going to use a pipe cleaner and go to one side of the top part of the cross. I'm going to take that pipe cleaner through, just kind of weave it through somehow, and then I'm going to twist tie it onto itself. And what I'm going to do is create a hook, and I'm going to take the pipe cleaner to the other side and do the same thing. After I was done, I did not like that you could see the hook at the top part of the cross, so I ended up taking it off, and I actually took it down to like the more middle part behind the deer's head so that you wouldn't see the hook or the hanger. Okay folks, this is my completed project. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.